NoDQ.com.
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 NoDQ.com. NoDQ.com.
The Jeff Meacham Network's Multiverse of Media. For over 15 years, the recognized symbol of excellence and the standard bearer in coverage of sports and entertainment.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered here today amongst family, friends, and fans to pay our final respects to the one, the only, Talk Wrestling. In a world of Conrads and Bischoffs, Saps and Salcedos, JDs and Russos, there is only one true podfather, and he is the man, the myth, the legend, the West Coast professor, Jeff Meacham. Talk Wrestling, which spawned out of Extreme Mayhem and XMV, was truly a revolutionary idea and product when it began. At the time, nobody else was doing a wrestling talk show of this magnitude. It took a true visionary to bring it to our screens every week, and for that, we must give Aaron Rift his proper due as well. Talk Wrestling came and went a few times over the years, and ironically, that's what would lead to its ultimate demise, as copycats would begin to pop up left and right in an attempt to fill the void. I'm not going to speak for every other podcast host out there, but I feel confident that I can speak for those of us affiliated with the Jeff Meacham Network Multiverse of Media. There would be no Renegade of Wrestling, no Jay Hebert side of things, no ATW View, no Indie Force podcast, no Rangers of Wrestling, if Talk Wrestling hadn't blazed the trail and kicked down the doors. With all of that being said, it is my tremendous honor to introduce to you, for the final time, the host of Talk Wrestling for all of these years, Jeff Meacham. Jeff?
Wow. Was not prepared for that, but thank you, JJ. Hi, yeah, welcome to Talk Wrestling. For the last time, I realize now that I'm not live on Instagram like I meant to be, so that's my bad. So hopefully we can fix that. There it goes. Okay, cool. We're live now, I think. Cool. Anywho, it wouldn't be a Jeff Meacham show without a botch, right? God, 400, almost over 350 people watching on social media. Thank you guys. Yeah, it's one of those things. As the eulogy stated, thank you again, JJ, for doing that. That was no. He said, "Can I talk?" Sure, go for it. I've stopped and started this show a few times over the years. There's no doubt about it. For a lot of different reasons. And it's just one of those things that I feel like the plethora of copycats has almost necessitated my ending the show. It's just kind of one of those deals. I enjoy doing this show. I really do, but it's the show was generated and conceptualized in a time where we didn't really rely on the super chatting and the donations and the view count being as high as we needed to be to keep going, right? So I was told more than once, go back to the old format, go back to the old the way you used to do it. And I did that. I went back and started doing the Q&A, and it still didn't get traction. So I figured, okay, let's just treat this like we did WrestleMania 20 years ago, where it all begins again type deal, right? So that's what we're doing today. We're going to go ahead and say goodbye, as nearly 400 of you are now watching. My goodness gracious, which I appreciate. Don't get me wrong, but it's one of those too little, too late things, right? So what I decided to do today, and if somebody wants to, come in, I guess, and do what JJ did, it's one of those. I will. And I can't do that because I'm on Aaron's channel too. I would definitely open it up to having people come in, but I don't know if Aaron will approve of that, and I can't get a hold of him, obviously, because I'm. If someone wants to reach out to Aaron and ask if I can do that, that's fine. No, Real White, it is not April Fool's joke. This is the last talk, and I know that's been said a couple times. There was a series finale in 2011 that was pre-recorded prior to Aaron and I's falling out back then, and then in 2017, I decided that I wasn't going to do the shows anymore because those solo shows anymore, just because I actually was done, period, at that point. And I felt like The Undertaker doing the symbolic removal of the gear in the ring after WrestleMania 33 was like, okay, maybe it's time at that. That was 7 years ago, y'all. So it's one of those. I came back to No DQ, and then I started my own stuff in being in 2020 or late 2019 because I just honestly bored off my ass, if I'm being real. But it couldn't come at a better time because we were all stuck inside for a while shortly after that. So it was kind of fortuitous that I did that. But yeah, talk wrestling has been the reason I was able to start my own channel, and I don't undersell that when it comes to my gratitude for Aaron and everything that Aaron and No DQ has done for me in what has truly become my professional life. I do what I do on these streams in order to generate revenue. This is how I make my money right now. Yes, I did work for Disneyland most recently as a real job, but circumstances being what they were in my personal life, I had to step away from that job, and I'm hoping to go back. We'll see. The more I'm hearing from other past affiliates, the more it's like, maybe I should Uncle Rick. But we'll see. But anyway, so what I decided, and you know, it's talk wrestling really, and you know, people talk about, you know, XMV, and XMV was wonderful for its time. It was a fun experience for its time. And I don't undersell that, right? So we have a super chat from CJ. Thank you, CJ. $20. He says, this is for both you and JJ. As you know, just a few months ago, I just got back into wrestling, but if WrestleMania sucks, and with it being Major League Baseball season, I see myself dropping wrestling again. Any advice? Oh, God, there's 500 people watching me. Jesus Christ. I can't even process that shit in my head right now. That's bonkers. I will say, CJ, first of all, let me know where you super chatted that. So if it's to JJ or my channel, cool. He and I can hash that shit out later. If it's to Aaron, it's no DQ. I have to actually, like, Aaron, hey, that's my 20. Kind of what it is. As far as advice, I would say the better person to talk to is JJ. As far as relinquishing the fandom again. JJ did that in 2014, around the same time that Punk left WWE, and JJ was jaded enough to step away from a fan, as a fan, and he came back not too long ago, and I think creative had gotten better. Thank you guys for letting me know it was to the Jeff Meacham Network YouTube. Thank you. That's a great first day of the month for me. That's a fifth of the way, 20% of the way to getting a payout in May, which will be helpful. I'll tell you why later. I will say this, CJ, it's ultimately what appeals to you. But we did say on, I think it was last night on our WrestleMania hype video that I popped into at the very end, we alone on the Multiverse of Media starting Saturday night have 16 straight days of content. That includes like 9 watch-alongs. If there's something on one of those shows that doesn't appeal to your fandom, be it with WWE or, you know, NXT or AEW and Ring of Honor or TNA or New Japan, there's not a whole lot any of us in this little Multiverse of Media can say that's going to make wrestling a priority fandom for you, especially over Major League Baseball. I know you have your Braves. You love your Braves. We talked about that when I was in Georgia a couple summers ago and how important the Braves are to you. And opening weekend was this last weekend, opening day. So all I will say is you have to ultimately make the decision of how much wrestling really means to you. And I wouldn't predicate it on WrestleMania sucking or not, but I will say it's very unlikely WrestleMania is going to suck this year. We have a very, very well-built card, a beautiful series of stories being told going into Saturday night. And, of course, you know, Saturday morning with Stand and Deliver. And, of course, the weekend, you know, is going to be awesome. So I would say just it is ultimately your call. I will say I gave up doing the YouTube shows in 2017 after The Undertaker apparently stepped away. Of course, we all know he didn't do that at that point. Ultimately, he came back. But I never shied away from the fandom. A lot of people I know have. And I've just kind of went, okay, that's cool. I pulled back on my watching quite a bit, but I never really stopped. I never really hated the industry, hated the shows, hated the business, but certainly made it hard a lot of times over the years. So gotta go with your heart, CJ. I know it's cliche, but that's what you gotta do, brother. And Rock and Cody definitely have their work cut out for them after MMA Hour this morning. Yeah, and I encourage everybody to watch that interview that Punk did with the MMA Hour this morning. Very, very telling, very, very revealing. And I just want to say this is freaking awesome. because I want so bad for the NWA to do well, but I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty friggin' cool. Anyhow, Big G, $5. Thank you, sir. My culmination of my boyhood dream will come to fruition this weekend. I'll probably have tears. Dude, I'll tell you what, Jeff. There is nothing quite like going to your first WrestleMania. I had the dubious honor of mine being at WrestleMania 2000 in an arena that I'm not all that fond of, if I'm being real, because it's the home of the Anaheim Ducks. But it was my first WrestleMania, and I got to be there. There were so many stars on that show, right? And it was fun. And then I went to WrestleMania 24, of course, in Florida with my father. I went to WrestleMania last year, first two-night WrestleMania I've ever been to, and that was cool because it was in LA. It was at SoFi Stadium, which is right next door to my original home away from home, right? The Forum. So that was a unique experience. I know JJ's been to WrestleMania when it was at the then Staples Center. And Big G's going to his first this weekend. I'm pretty sure this is Walter's first WrestleMania too. So it's pretty cool. You guys are not only going to your first Mania, but you're also going to host the NoDQ meetup on, I think it's Friday. You guys said you have to send me a link for that, but I honestly forgot. And Josh, it's your birthday. Like, I don't expect you to super chat as often. I would like your participation a little more, if I'm being honest. But I understand you're busy with the work, so I'm not going to shit on you right now. This is my day. But yeah, super chat Greg's channel. Super chat my channel on Wednesday when we're live with the Greg Shirley Show. Give us a little love on Wednesday because Greg and Maddie and Ella J are going to be there doing their WrestleMania predictions. It's going to be awesome. I see the link, but I can't access it. G, so we'll do that, and we'll talk about it here at the end. As far as just message him, DM him. It's not a really big deal. But thank you guys for the super chat so far. Much appreciated. $25 is a fourth of the way to my day. So. And again, I'm going to Disneyland in May, 3 days after payout day, actually. So that's ironically. We have 619. So shout out to Rey Mysterio. And, or actually we have 616. So that's a YouTube I follow on about a lot of things. So everybody's getting the synergy today. I love it. I love it. Anyhow, so I have a couple of highlights I want to show you guys. While Matthew says I'm still waiting. Go to my first Mania Royal Rumble. Almost had a chance this year, but couldn't afford it. But I have been getting my fix the next. Yeah, it was cool. You went to NXT and you saw the debut of the Olympic gold medalist, the third in WWE history. So that's pretty cool. We were talking about that on the show Saturday. The first highlight is definitive proof, ladies and gentlemen, that I am not Santa Claus. Nor is Santa Claus me, at least in this case.
Thank you all for watching Talk Wrestling this entire year. Hey, Santa, Jeff, thanks you. Wait a minute, Santa.
Whoa, Santa, wait a minute. It's last show of the year. I gotta be on my last show.
This is Talk Wrestling episode 96, by the way. This is 05, 06.
Talk Wrestling. Santa, you want to close out the show?
Well, Jeff, I appreciate you letting me come on the show today and wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and, of course, a Happy New Year. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, well, then, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, joyful holiday to you all.
Same,
whatever you celebrate.
Positive.
Happy holidays. Thank you for watching Talk Wrestling here on NoDQ.com. Go to NoDQ.com for all of your wrestling needs, and we'll see you
next level stuff here, guys.
And we'll see you next year on Talk Wrestling.
And it might be 08 because I'm pretty sure Dylan was already born by that time. That's a valid point. Anyway, so pretty cool. Yeah, that's when I had that muted. I don't know why that played. If it was, nope. That's funny. It's muted, but I'm still able to share it. That's funny. Anyway, I'm going to bring up the other one. The other one's even funnier, I think. For Yeah, we used to do the shows outside quite a bit, both here and at Aaron's place. You'll see highlights of Aaron's place here momentarily. Yeah, Twitter started in 08 or 09. Yeah, it may have been 09. It was right before we started doing HD, which, you know what? That was late 2009 is what that was. So forgive my brain. Anyway, so yeah. Yeah, we did shows quite a bit outside back in the day. We would be able to tape here in the front yard here at the Meacham house. We would be able to do some of the stuff in the courtyard. Oh, wait till you see my hair here in a minute. Holy shit. Like, God, it's just, No DQ WrestleMania meetup is Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. 1 p.m. Eastern, so it's going to be back there. Xfinity Live, 1100 Pattinson Avenue in Philadelphia. There you go. JJ coming through in the clutch, as he has done for me so many times over the years. And yes, please go out and meet Walter and Big Baller G. They're going to be out there doing their thing on Sunday, WrestleMania Sunday. Watch the Slammies. You know, the Slammies are going to be in that area, so go watch the Slammies and then go see Big Baller G and Mr. Reliable himself, Walter Cruz. You know you want to. Don't lie to yourself. Gosh darn it. Okay, here it is right here. That's what I want. Thank you. All right, so this next one, Jesus. Oh, boy. So back in, and again, this is, I think, early on enough where it's definitely, I think, after Dylan was born that Aaron put this up. I don't remember. It said, I think it said like 16 years ago, and he turned 16 this week. So it's close. I know that much. Anyway, let me get the video rolling. Hold on a second here. There it is. There we go. Full screen. All right. This is what Aaron has dubbed, and this is, you know, again, this is old, 14 years ago. So 2019. Or no, not 2009, excuse me. Jesus, can't count. 2009 was when this was first aired on the No DQ YouTube channel. So here we go. God, this is, again, wait till y'all see this goatee. All 700 of you. Wait till you see this shit.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this flash from. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 63. Here we go. I think they'll do very well for themselves. I think they'll have nothing but success. I think we'll hear cars going by as they succeed. MySpace, YouTube, NoDQ.com, Twitter.com. We're everywhere. NoDQ forums, I think they're even posting the show on now. My God, we are all over the freaking net, just like the good old days of the other show we used to do back on this show. Little Rob.
The show back on this show.
What do you think about TNA's people coming out the door? The neighbors are all around us. They're even outside sometimes. They're sliding screen doors. Bug on your wire. People pulling it. I was coming to my driveway. This is my Jeff Meacham white boy dance right here. Latina dance. There you go. Do that. Okay. No fucking consideration. I'll have a beach.
Didn't age well at all.
All right, this from Jose Luis. Yeah, I like the gimmick. I like
fucking fly.
This is the worst show we've ever done. They're probably doing better with the TV 14 than they are with the TV PG.
My brother, God bless it, man. Yeah, my brother. You know, we've been doing these shows for over 20 years, and you know, he sees me out there on the driveway. There's a camera in front of me. My computer and my table are out there, and the fuck. Anyway, I don't remember the first question of the week. If you remember it, please post it. Well, God, I remember that. Jeff did the Daniel Garcia dance for Daniel Garcia. That's accurate. That is accurate. Yes, I remember Edge Bear. Remember Edge Bear from the Talk Wrestling days? What would current Jeff tell younger Jeff? Oh my God. Oh man. Well, I would tell that Jeff that was on the bloopers. It ain't that serious. It is not that serious, y'all. It's we're just goofing around doing YouTube shit. I mean, it's different now, obviously, because of the circumstances. But back then, it was just, man, having fun with your buddies. Quit taking life so seriously. Oh my God, I remember that. Like, how in the world? Yeah, right. Oh, what a horrible question. God, that's awful. What would your current? Yeah, don't bet on Zack Ryder. Damn right. Or yeah. Don't bet against Zack Ryder. What wouldn't current Jeff tell younger Jeff? Oh God. Well, first of all, let me go back. Let me go back here. First of all, current Jeff would tell younger Jeff, keep an eye on the boy. Be there for him more. Realize that he's struggling, as we all were during the COVID lockdown. Be more attentive. Be more present. Because I wasn't. And we're now playing catch-up ball, and it sucks big time. Like, big time. What I wouldn't tell my younger self, I probably wouldn't tell my younger self that I was going to be working at Disneyland, because then I would have been aware of it, and I probably would have found a way to not make it happen. And that's just me. I'm very self-sabotaging. So I'd probably not tell that Jeff that I'm going to be working at Disney, because it was such a far off dream that knowing it was going to happen would have made me cocky about it, I think. And I would have found a way to screw it up. That's the honest God's truth. So I probably would have kept my mouth shut about that, if anything. Talk Wrestling became open mic night. In my opinion, I feel I can get everyone's point of view plus yours in a way it's not leaving fully. So yeah, that's kind of where I was going to go. But I'll go ahead and do it now, Emmanuel, since you and your sister and Tony Atkins basically sponsored open mic night, and I got JJ and I both what we needed as far as the money for the month. So thank you again, the three of you. Golly. So I feel like Talk Wrestling in its earliest gestation, I guess, for lack of a better term, really was a way for me to come back to the air and express my horrible, raw feelings about what happened with the Chris Benoit tragedy, right? Because it was an awful time for all of us as wrestling fans. And I wasn't really involved in the indies or whatever at that point. So I was just another fan, right? I still am another fan. I can full my own shit there. God, that was awful. But I think over the 4 years before Aaron and I had our falling out, I think it really became a way for me to, yeah, there it is. There you go. Thank you, Walter. You said it perfectly. Thank you. It was my weekly therapy, couldn't afford therapy at the time. So that's what this show had been. When I brought it back in 2014, it wasn't the request of Rob Van Dam at the end of the day. Rob reached out to me. It's funny. So right after the Kings won the Stanley Cup for the second time in June of 2014, I took Dylan to the parks, just he and I, and we did a Disney day. And on the way out, heading for the bus to go home, I got a message from Rob. asking if I was still doing my shows because he had something to promote. I said, I'm like, oh, I'm not, but okay. Because at that point I had to find out with JJ too. I'm a people person apparently back in 2011, 2014. But I reached out. Aaron and I had mended ways by this point. So I reached out and said, hey, I got this from Rob. Has something to promote. Can we get together? And yeah. So we did. It took till October of 2014, but we got there. And we went to the little apartment rooftop there at Venice Beach. And did another hour and something with Rob, as we do when we get together, he and I, and just promoted his stuff, talked about his career, talked about him returning to WWE, talking about other things, and then took my boy up to the Hollywood Bowl and saw Luke Bryan in concert. So that was a hell of a day. But in saying that, Talk Wrestling has allowed me the ability to have this, cultivated the multiverse of media, and be able to realize that I needed to have the ability to delegate and the ability to have others do this besides me and still be able to participate and be able to get my views on wrestling, my views on sports, my views on life out there. And Talk Wrestling has kind of already become sort of this like, oh yeah, it's still here. I forgot about that. But I have, if I so choose, Meach's Musings, where I talk about everything. I have the dads on wrestling shows, not always on wrestling. Every other week that we do our top 10 rankings, and I get together with JJ, to do that show. Open mic night, which has become the showcase piece of the Multiverse of Media, every Saturday night without fail, or Sundays if we have to. But we have not missed an episode in over 100 episodes. So I think that's a pretty cool stat in of itself. XMV got to 100, and then we were done. Talk Wrestling got to over 100. And now it is done. I think Talk Wrestling is over 200 now. I don't know the exact number. Forgive me. I don't have the count in front of me. Beyond like 100 or early 100s because we stopped counting at that point when we went to HD in 2010. So yeah, and if I'm going to be honest, a lot of this, it has to do with people in chat rooms I inhabit and don't inhabit now, saying, "Oh, you need to go back to the old format, Q&A, and do your thing." And I did, and it didn't help. Right? I had told myself a long time ago that if I did not enjoy anything, any facet of a show or what I was doing or whatever, that I was done. And I have lied to myself and wrote myself a new internal contract way too many times. This show had its purpose. This show had its place in my life, in your lives, within the multiverse with no DQ. It no longer solely occupies that place in my heart, in my brain, on my show, on my channels, on no DQ. So it's not that it is just about one thing or two things. It's about the fact that Talk Wrestling is no longer unique. And I feel like, with Open Mic Night most definitely becoming the centerpiece of the Multiverse of Media and the Jeff Meacham Network instead of this show. And I have the show on either Thursday or Mondays, depending on when I put Meacham Musings. By the way, Musings will be this Thursday with our big final shill push and my predictions for damn near everything. And then Monday before Raw after Mania, we will have Meacham Musings go back to Mondays. So programming note there. Yeah, Open Mic Night has basically occupied the space that Talk Wrestling has filled for me for almost 17 years. And you know what? The difference is, if I miss open mic night, I legitimately feel awful toward Jay, toward the people that show up every single week because I can't be bothered. How shitty is that of me? Missing this show, I haven't felt that way. And I guess that's the real difference. And I guess that's the real reason why it's done. I appreciate the Hall of Fame stuff in the chat. Again, JJ, you made me cry, you bastard. I appreciate the acknowledgement from the people that I care about. Because JJ's right. And they can sit there and, brag all they want about, how well they do and how much recognition they have and how much positivity they get feedback from everybody in wrestling. But there would be no thought process of those other channels, those other Patreons, those other anythings without this show and without NoDQ.com. And that is indisputable. And anybody that argues with me, great. I'm not going to argue with you because I don't need to deal with people that know they're right and they're wrong. So that is where I stand on that. So with that being said, I will now take my leave. And I thank you all for those of you that have been patient with me, those of you that have been, put up with my shit and, put up with the show being inconsistent and not always here and not always the reliable thing that it used to be. It's funny that you say that, Matthew, because I did have this to air and I completely forgot. Aaron, I know we're on no DQ, but it is what it is. I will leave you with this clip from the single longest reigning AEW World Champion of the last 5 years of the company's history, and completely made me realize that whatever bad I've put out there in the world, whatever, and Aaron is here, and it's appropriate Aaron's here at the end. Aaron, I love you, brother. Thank you for this. Feel free to pop in if you want. I'll send you the link. You know what? Yeah, Aaron, before I send you the link, let me know if you want the link, because I allocated myself till 8 p.m. until Raw started. So if you'd like to pop in and say something, message me on Facebook and I'll send you the link. I'll go ahead and bring Facebook up just so I sees it. And I'll send you the link if you would like to come on. Aaron's one of the ones that gets the pass. I know somebody else. I know Josh asked earlier to come in, but I wanted to keep going. Yeah, I'll go ahead and send the link to Aaron if he wants to come in. That way he can come in. But give me a second here. Anyway, I'm running the clip that I was talking about. I got a little sidebar there. But Matthew said, look at all the famous wrestlers you've met. That is a achievement. And the fact that MJF was one of your last ones and gave both channels a rub. I mean, yeah, that's valid. Did not ask him to do this, for the record. This just kind of came out of him, as we all know Max can do.
You're live in OG Clutch.
I'll take it from here. Ladies and gentlemen, just in case you're deaf, dumb, blind, stupid, or since you watch Jeff Meacham programming, probably a little poor, my name is Maxwell Jacob Freeman. I am the longest reigning AEW World Champion and the best professional wrestler on the fucking planet. And if you want to listen to the best professional wrestling journalist, broadcaster, commentator, fat guy, you need to check out Jeff Meacham's channel. He is far superior to Aaron Rift. When I was in middle school and I wanted to watch the Monday Night Raw review, every single time I watched Jeff Meacham, No DQ, YouTube every week. He's very good at his job. He is as intelligent as he is fat. Thank you.
That's a lot.
And that's a lot.
Fucker. That's a lot. Damn. Oh, I miss Max. I agree with Matthew. I hope he comes back soon. God, the company misses him for sure. It's just a salmon-colored blazer moment. No, sadly not, James. I wish it was. I am not retiring. For the record, I am not going anywhere. Just this show. The show is done. But Jeff Meacham will live on. JJ, if you want to come on back in, go ahead. I don't see a reply from Mr. the Boss Man, so feel free to pop on back in, and you can whatever else you want to say, by all means, come on in and say your thing. I know you gave me the eulogy. It made me cry right before I came on camera, but yeah, I mean that's really it, guys. I didn't want to go more than 40 to 45 minutes. I want to make sure I got off the air here before Raw really kicked in. I know I don't get to watch late o'clock because we suck out here on the West Coast and I don't have satellite footage. But yeah, that's really what I wanted to say. So since I went against what I was going to do, because I was just going to have Aaron be the guy to come back in, and JJ is here. If anybody else that I know I can trust with being on both Aaron's and my channel, because Lord knows some of you I can't do that. You damn potty mouths you, and you trolls you.
Heathens.
Bunch of nipple noggins, a lot of yous. There it is. There you go. And yes, again, I said it. JJ said it. Thank you for saying it, by the way. Neither one of us is sitting here without Aaron. That's just the way it is. And I know I get sideways on Aaron a lot. I know a lot of us get sideways on Aaron a lot, but you know, he is the true podfather, if anything. And I only say that because yes, I allowed for the branching out, the extending of, you know, different people being on the channels and having different channels be part of it, having different shows be part of it. But much like, you know, in that vein, much like Vincent K. McMahon, and again, this is the part where I briefly kiss Vince McMahon's ass. If you don't like it, you can feel free to mute me. Much like Vince McMahon in the 80s, you know, did his thing for the business. If it wasn't for Vince J. McMahon, Vincent K. McMahon never had the opportunity. So I have to give Aaron that level of respect at the end of the day.
Yeah, I take nothing away from Aaron. I meant what I said about him in the eulogy. I only kind of because without your initial departure, he wouldn't have stepped up to be on camera.
No, I agree with that.
He did his role beautifully from a producer-director standpoint, but you were the podfather as the original face of the company.
That's valid. Okay. I will go with that.
If he was Vincent K. McMahon, you were Hulk Hogan, which is ironic with you rocking the Meachamania shirt.
That is a much more valid comparison, I think. There wouldn't have been one without the other in 83, 84. There wouldn't have been one with the other in 07, 08, 09, 10. That's valid.
And then with the expansion, you know, that's buying up WCW, buying up ECW, you know.
Yeah.
We won't go down the road of the invasion angle, but bringing in all the other talent because you're bringing in all these other channels to create this multiverse we've cultivated.
Yes. Sorry doing laundry since the video on. Thank you for the invite, though. Okay, no worries, brother. I appreciate you. So Aaron's having laundry day before Raw starts. I don't blame him, man. We gotta have clean clothes to do these reviews. Freaking 13 days of streams. No wonder he's gonna be doing laundry. That shit is valid. However, we do have somebody that I'm gonna bring in, and I'm gonna give him massive shit before he gets to start talking.
Crap! Here we go.
Okay, so here's the deal.
Love you too, JJ.
Yeah. You shush. You speak when spoken to. Now, I understand this busy week for you, especially yesterday and the day before. I get that. But since you're here, you will be the microcosm, if you will, There are 870 people watching this shit right now. Where the hell have y'all been for the last 2 years? Just saying. I torpedo the show, and all of a sudden everybody comes out of the woodwork.
Mm-hmm.
You, while you've been around a lot more than the other 873 people, you've also found ways to not be present when we needed you. We needed that support. We needed that Mansfield energy. So now that you've been properly scolded, you can feel free to kiss my ass and praise my show.
Where's my chapstick?
That's right. I would bend over it, but we have people get thrown off the air, all thrown off the air for stuff like that on this channel before, no DQ wise anyway. So we'll leave that to that past.
Fair enough. But yes, it was this whole week. I was a busy boy. And even though I had officially tapped out from open mic night this week, at JJ's request, I came in to save your asses.
Which, hold on there, Buster Roo.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I know everyone comes to see Noah.
Well, yeah, that's fair. So joining us also, CJ, if you can tilt your camera forward just a smidge so you're more, attaboy. No, there we go. Joining us from Brave Central, because Lord knows it's baseball season out there in Georgia.
Hey, how are you?
Good to see you, brother. Good to see you.
An echo for whatever reason.
That's. Are you also watching the show?
Yes.
Okay. Mute the thing while you're watching the show.
Did that help?
I don't know. Did it? You tell me.
Yes.
Okay. There you go.
I need to cut that off? Okay, my bad.
Yeah. So please leave the stream running, but just mute.
I think that helped.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. All right. So, CJ,
I've been watching you for a long time. A lot of great years, man.
I know it was cool to get to see you and everybody when I went on our little Six Flags trip, and it was cool to be able to get into some of the cool parts of Atlanta when I was down there and get to have dinner with you guys. That was really neat. So we'll have to.
Oh yeah, you had bison for the first time.
I did. I had a bison burger for the very first time when I was in Atlanta with these guys. It was pretty cool. So, anything you want to say as far as talk wrestling before we start to wrap it up here?
It's hard to say just one thing. It's just
that's valid. Thank you.
Like before you were. You started 07, like right around the Benoit tragedy?
Yep, a couple weeks afterwards.
Yeah. So you kind of helped talk about that. That was a bit of therapy because Benoit was always one of my favorites. That hit me hard.
Yeah, it was.
Not only did he die, it's like how he died. Like they weren't able to tribute him. At least Eddie, they gave him a really good tribute, and which they kind of did, but then they had to act like they didn't. But
yes.
And then I hate to make it, but I kind of wanted JJ's quick opinion about me being worried that my fandom might lose again if this week sucks.
I guess a lot of it just has to do with what your standards are and what you expect from wrestling. You know, if you're expecting 14 matches over 2 days that are 5, 6, 7-star Meltzer classics, go ahead and see your way out because you're not going to get
for real.
But if you're looking for humor, if you're looking for entertainment, if you're looking for a diamond in a rough that could be polished into a gem, you'll find it.
Insert CM Punk comment from this afternoon here.
That nobody knows what you're talking about because none of us have watched that interview yet, Josh. Awesome.
Yeah. I will say this. I'm not in that chat. Instead of beat by beat, how about we give Aria a little love and actually just post the freaking link to the show?
I did. I figured you were hearing about this from JJ.
Oh, of course I was. Dude, I have eyes and ears everywhere, muckerfather.
I'm aware you do, boss.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Brother is
CJ,
watching.
Yeah.
CJ, we're going we're going to let you go since you're still moving around the house and everything. But thank you for popping in. I appreciate it, brother.
I loved your show, man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Thank you, brother. Don't pop in on my show and move around the house. It doesn't help. I love CJ. Josh, what were you going to say before we brought in CJ? I'm sorry.
So, boss man, Meacham.
Mm-hmm.
All right, how much lipstick am I gonna, or not chapstick am I gonna need? Fuck, now I'm botching. Dude, thank you for keeping me invested in everything. And like we've all been saying, open mic night can be therapy for a lot of us. And I think it's great that things have evolved to, it was just, you just doing you, but now you're able to bounce off with everyone else in open mic night. And, we get to just have a fun time.
Sure.
Whether it's, yelling at me for my,
everything.
Everything. Making Noah sing and do every other crazy thing under the sun. Driving JJ nuts. Love you, JJ. It's just always a great time, and you are the. How do I want to word this?
Carefully.
Yes, you are the wrestling YouTube godfather, pretty much. Let's be real here. So, Jeffrey Mother effing Meacham, we acknowledge you.
Ooh, I like that.
We don't acknowledge Roman Reigns, though. You suck.
And you know what? Since I know you, I know we're 10 till the top of the hour. You want to wrap things up so the people on the East Coast can watch Raw and spoil it for everybody else in all the chat rooms.
Yep.
I'm going to give Talk Wrestling's farewell episode some breaking news.
Ooh.
35 minutes ago, it was announced via Instagram. The Rock will be inducting Leah Maivia in the Hall of Fame this year.
Fuck yes!
Language, we're on no DQ.
Sorry, Aaron.
Kick him out.
I did too, to be fair.
We only get one. Kick him out.
I used more than one earlier, but Josh.
I didn't hear it.
I know.
But Josh, for real, thank you. Again, it's there's a reason I'm drinking during this episode. It's not easy.
I don't blame you. I made you cry a couple years ago. JJ can make you cry today.
Well, WrestleMania, everybody made me cry. To be fair, it was what it was.
I had fun with that. I'm not gonna lie.
I know you did. But thank you guys, both of you, and for you, we'll see you tomorrow morning for Love of Wrestling. Are you putting the reviews on the regular feed? Because I get confused.
I'll talk to you about it afterwards.
Oh, fair enough. Okay, but members only section over here. He's got some good reviews of these documentaries. Just throwing that shit out there, including the one premieres today on Peacock. He's going to review that on Thursday. So,
and I just shared my screen with the post real quick. If you want to pop that in.
Okay, that we can do.
I have it muted because it's showing. It started off with some footage from the epic journey of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and now it's kind of going through the video that I'm sure they're going to air tonight. But it says, "I'm honored to announce that I will be inducting my grandmother, Leah Maivia, into the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2024. One of the first ever female promoters of professional wrestling. She was a trailblazer. She was a protector. She was the real final boss."
That's awesome. That's very cool. Yeah, I mean, if you watched, sorry, I hit mute instead of trying. I was trying to make this full screen. I accidentally muted you for just a couple of seconds, but we heard you say the final boss. So that was the thing. If you watch Young Rock, Leah brought Flair to the territory when it was taboo for them to go. I don't think they were part of the NWA at that point. It was a big deal. And dude, Leah Maivia was the final boss. She was a badass. So very cool. that
I'm kind of surprised it's taken them so long to make this announcement,
Mhm.
but with it being, no disrespect to Leah, but with it being somebody that not everybody's going to really know,
Mhm.
with it being the go home to Raw,
Yep.
with Rocky being announced for Raw today,
Yep.
it makes sense for today to be the announcement of that.
Dude, both Dwayne and Roman are going to be on the show tonight. Like,
know.
I need to find a way to get access to this at 5:00. I'm losing my shit having to wait 3 extra hours.
I'm perfectly fine. Here, let me make sure I have the chat room muted so that people like Mansfield can't spoil shit for me.
Just mute that shit now. Yeah, golly.
Yeah, I usually have it muted, but I just want to make sure it doesn't like unmute and start blowing up like an hour and a half into it. So
Yeah, that's a valid point. The first hour is commercial free, dude.
yeah, and Rock and Roman are gonna be that first hour.
I was say,
if they are not that first hour, then Triple H already messed up.
Can you imagine if they have a segment go like it did on SmackDown where it's just them for an hour? Oh my God.
Hey, between Rock coming out, and I'm sure he's going to make the announcement of his grandmother.
Yes.
And Paul Heyman, another Hall of Famer, being in the ring with them.
Dude.
Acknowledge the bloodline.
It's one of the, again, I need you to watch the Roman thing. I know you're going to at some point today. Let me just say this without spoiling anything for the documentary for you. There is no disputing the claims of the wise man at this point. There's just not.
No.
I don't care if it's in character. I don't care if it's the context of a story. I don't care if Paul Heyman actually believes Joe Anawahi is the greatest of all time. I'm not arguing with the man anymore. I'm not going to do it.
Nope. Shouldn't be doing it for the last 4 years to begin with.
Yeah.
I digress.
Yeah. Yeah. We can't because it's on Saturday. Anyway, thank you for the eulogy.
And I meant everything that I said.
I know.
And I know that there's a lot of people out there that probably saw that think I'm just blowing smoke up your ass. But seriously, go back in the annals of history. There would be no Sean Ross Sapp. There would be no Denise Salcedo, no JD from NY. Hell, Vince Russo himself says he's only been doing this for 12 years. That was in 2012. Jeff had 5 years of Talk Wrestling before Russo started doing this. And another 5 with XM and XMV.
And Russo was part of those 5 years of XM and XMV.
So there'd be no Conrad Thompson, no Eric Bischoff on here, Cornette, none of those people that get the Patreon subscribers, the millions of views, hundreds of dollars of super chats in a session, if it wasn't for him and Aaron Rift. You don't know what you got till it's gone. And this is the end, my friend.
Well, thank you. I'm gonna be that guy and go out solo on my sword here. So I will see you after Raw tonight. If anything, we can talk about what you saw and what I have seen already. So thank you, my friend. I will see you tonight for sure.
Yes, sir.
All right. And so this is the end. It's funny that, the one of the greatest songs by one of the greatest ever, Frank Sinatra, Pat Patterson loves this song. And, through it all, I took the blows and I am doing this my way. I am leaving my way. So thank you guys again for, everything the last 17 years on this show, the over 22 period, or almost 22 period. And yeah, even Undertaker has a podcast. I never thought I'd see that again, right? Or never thought I'd see that period. So thank you guys again very much. And we'll see you tonight on this channel, No DQ channel, for Aaron's Raw recap. And the rest of the week for all the content on the Multiverse of Media. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, CJ, for popping in. Thank you, Josh, for popping in. We'll see you down that road. But have a wonderful rest of your night.
The Jeff Meacham Network's Multiverse of Media. For over 15 years, the recognized symbol of excellence and the standard bearer in coverage of sports and entertainment.
NoDQ.com. NoDQ.com.
NoDQ.com. NoDQ.com.
NoDQ.com.
NoDQ.com. NoDQ.com. NoDQ.com.
Holy crap. Don't throw that out there. I love that. Raw hasn't started yet, but that's still pretty friggin' cool. All right. And Colin's here. So I know. It's April Fool. He's back. No. Just I saw these comments come in before we were done. So thank you guys again very much. It wouldn't be an end without a botch from Jeff having to come back on really quick, right? All right. For real, though. Thank you very much, guys. Enjoy Raw. I know I will when I get to. Have a good night.